even if the worst case scenario happens and the jury doesn't really believe me, and they believe the state, no matter what, I have to proceed for the mother because that's what I told her I would do.
Going off of that, this is you're almost to the 50th mark of being in these hearings.
Yes.
You mentioned in court that you were going to take it to the appeals court because you feel as though this court isn't, recognizing your privilege to recognize. Can you kind of speak to that? Did you hear me?
Sure. This level of court is for basic kind of statutory crimes. I wish I could speak to this more succinctly, but this court does not have a mechanism for constitutional issues. That's why so much of the proceedings you just see this grinding, and there's so much arguing between myself and the prosecution, not in front of the jury, about what they're going to get to see, what they're going to get to hear. And ages ago, Judge Welty said, we will preclude a religious defense. What I'd like people to know, how did that happen? How did I lose my religious defense? I was advised by my attorney at the time, a very good attorney, I hear, that to use religion as a defense, it's called an affirmative defense. And people might understand the part where we have an affirmative defense for murder. For example, let's say that I was guilty of pulling a trigger. Then if I was stealing someone's wallet, I'm very much a criminal. If I was stopping someone from entering a schoolyard full of children and they've got guns ablazing and I shoot them in the back but I stop them, in both cases I took a life. And I actually taught this in theory of practice. It's my understanding of the law that your intention, your circumstances, and your motive are essential to the investigation of a crime. They've actually said that motive in prostitution, they don't care. They don't care about motive, circumstance, anything like that. So I don't know if I answered your question.
This system has no
I mean, going on
you have no heart.
the state was basically arguing today that
He was actually
the jury kind of nullified.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I never used that language, although I will share with anyone who's interested. Like jury nullification is, it's when, my understanding of it is when the jury says, yes, you applied the law, but we think you applied it incorrectly. And jury nullification, the statement of motion that we couldn't discuss it, never bring it up. I never once said those words today. Sometimes I think the prosecution is trying to help me, seriously, because he's standing there going, and jury nullification, and I'm like, I never said those words out of my mouth. But what it does say right here, it says right here, as you determine the facts, however, you may find that some instructions no longer apply. Then you will consider the instructions that do apply together with the facts. So jury nullification is a legal term, and it's pretty much hated. Like everybody in the criminal justice system hates it. Like they do not want to ever see jury nullification. But right there in the jury instructions, the jury has a way to find something different. They can look at the facts, apply the facts, and say, you know what, I don't feel this applies. But it's not official jury nullification, like where they're calling for it or calling it that. But it does give them scoochie room. That and reasonable doubt.
And basically going into the last 15 minutes that the state needs to argue tomorrow, how do you feel about the overall hearing? How are you feeling with your overall thoughts?
Problems that should not be problems. And this is what this whole thing is.
Because I'm doing this for spiritual purposes, what I think is going to affect the light of my soul and where I go later. I actually, like afterlife, before life, what is my soul up to? So,
Western nations.
I'm exhausted, I'm pretty tired. And, at some level, if I get sent off to prison by the jury, I will do my ministry with the women because I always do. It would make me sad because I have beautiful teachings for couples and for men that wouldn't be of any use in a prison for women. Regardless, my daughter and I both really got put through the system here, like directly. And we're working on a book called The System. And it's just to explain to people that what you think happens in criminal justice and what actually happens, it's different. It's not what you think. So I'm prepared for the worst, Danielle. And I'm going to pray for a good outcome. And I'm going to ask people that care about me, my children, the temple, to also pray for good outcome. And that's just the energy that's up in the brain, up in the third eye. Prayers reach people. There's so many studies that prayers work. So yes, if you believe, pray. Thank you. Thank you. Is that enough?
Where's you guys' bindi?
Thank you very much.
Do you get to wear a bindi? No, not yet.
My main point was that every single person that testified against the temple was under contract by the state, whether it was an employee as a detective or whether it was a person who took a plea bargain, which is a contract. So every person worked for the state essentially when they testified against us. And there was not one witness that was independent of the state. The state had all 5 years to try to find one person that would testify that was not under contract by the state. Yeah, I'm independent and I bought sex for money, or the temple was a sham. Not one person said that. Every person that testified against worked for / under contract by the state. So what would you expect? I don't know. Justice.
Ben, what's jury nullification again?
Don't be afraid to be weak. Don't be too proud to be strong. Just look into your heart, my friend. That will be the return to yourself, the return to innocence.